Hi, my name is Robert Sikora. I am a student at Stony Brook University going for a bachelor's in electrical engineering. And less than 2 weeks ago, I just finished a month-long solo art exhibition at the Cortland Free Library. Now, you probably wouldn't really expect an engineer to be very interested in the fine arts, but I'll tell you my story as to how this all came to be. When I was in junior high, I was really interested in math, and to me, art was really boring because the first things that came to my mind were portraits of very rich people and landscapes, and it didn't really interest me. But then when I was looking at some old educational power CDs that were loafing around my house, I found a CD that was about the history of surrealism. And it showcased a lot of the very famous 20th century artists, like Salvador Dali, for instance, is seen here, and Jackson Pollock, and Alexander Calder. This sort of defied what I thought art was, and it was even appealing to me, really appealing to me. And I started trying to imitate some of their stuff at this young age. My 8th grade teacher took notice that I liked a lot of 20th century art, and she introduced me to a 20th century artist called Wassily Kandinsky. I don't know how she knew that I would have really enjoyed his work, but I did, and he's one of my favorite artists today. A few years later, I picked up a book at the local library called Modern Art, and there is one section in the book that was dedicated to the abstract expressionist movement of modern art. And you can see this one is Robert Motherwell, this one is Clifford Still, and this one is Barnett Newman. So, in other words, if I thought the 20th century art was really interesting, this stuff is really interesting too. I saw this sign at the Cortland Free Library 6 months ago. I think this sign really changed my life because I originally thought that if you wanted to be an artist, you had to be working really hard at it, studying for 5 years in universities, and so on. But it turns out, anybody can make something really nice. I mean, as long as it fits the aesthetics of the individual. So with that in mind, I decided to showcase some of the images that I've been doing over the course of my life at this exhibition. So for the next 6 months, I painted 27 paintings, while in the previous year I did only 6. I was really inspired to do work. The following are images of the works that I showed at the exhibition. This is one of the drawings that was inspired by the Surrealist movement, as well as this one. This is a Kandinsky-inspired painting, along with this one. And this is a Jackson Pollock-inspired painting. Around the time that I first signed up for the exhibition, I started a couple of new painting series. One of them is called the Collage series. The Collage series is collages of shapes and colors and lines. you can see how they all clutter up the picture. The next series that I was doing is called the Void series. It's just like the collage series, except there aren't as many colors, there aren't as many lines or shapes. You can see the Motherwell influence there. All of these paintings were shown at the exhibition. And the first day of the month, I signed up. I set everything up, and it took about several hours to do. And on the first Friday of the month is called First Friday. It's an event that is universally held by galleries across the country to have their opening receptions for the artist exhibition. As far as my opening reception was concerned, a lot of people showed up, and a lot of people were asking me if I was selling any of my works. I originally didn't intend to sell my works, but with that encouragement, I decided to go ahead and try it. And in the last week of the exhibition, I sold 3 paintings. I had a lot of fun with the exhibition. I had a really good time. And I hope to show my stuff to some more galleries and some more places. And the electrical engineering studies is an adventure of its own. And we'll see where those two paths take me for the course of my life. All right, you got questions, guys?
Okay, so you told us a little bit about how you got interested in art, and can you say something about how you got interested in engineering?
Well, for one thing, math was something that I was really good at. And I was recommended by a lot of people when I was in college to go for electrical engineering. I was in a fork on the road, so to say. And a lot of people were telling me to go for electrical engineering. This is as opposed to mechanical engineering or civil engineering. Something that you could make a living off of.
Okay. Some way you could use your interest in math to make a living.
Yes.
Is that the idea? Nice.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
So has your math skills influenced your painting?
It's a very good question. I wouldn't say that it has, but you can see some of the right brain, left brain influences, and they do look pretty mathematical. As far as I see it, I don't think there really was much influence, but you can judge for yourself if they look very mathematical to you.
Well, I see geometrical, the lines, the squares, everything else that is part of the art, the work.
For all I know, it has, but I certainly haven't seen it yet.
You do sculptures, right?
I recently started getting into sculpture.
Are you going to do sculptures that follow the same kind of techniques?
I'm hoping I can do that. So far, I haven't really thought of something that would be able to fit with gravity. Of course, I could do a mobile or something, but that's to be determined.
The exhibit I told you about up at the Everson, the app art exhibit,
Mm-hmm.
there's one that uses, I guess you could call it like kinetic art or something. It's a sculpture, and there's different things that are hung. Actually, they're metal tubes, and they create optical effects because of the background. you might be interested in that and seeing if it might pique your interest in it or inspire you to do something kind of like that, or
I've got to check that out tonight. Or at the very least, if it's been taken down, I've got to look at. I think there's a place on the Everson Museum website that has the past exhibitions.
well, I have some pictures of that particular thing.
Oh, you do?
Actually, yes, you might want to see them
I'd love to see them.
if they can't see the real thing.
Right? Any others?
Well, it's not a question, but I just a bit of an observation. I never really saw like Kandinsky's abstract paintings until today. And I was kind of noting how your works that are similar in appearance are different. Like I noticed that not necessarily all of his shapes or curves are necessarily symmetrical, and how the colors sometimes blend in with the shapes mix, but you keep everything symmetrical basically, and you don't mix colors, which is kind of nice. It's like your fingerprint. It's pretty cool.
I'm fluttering in the clouds.
Okay. Well,
Right.
thank you very
Okay,
much.
yep. Thank you again.